Remember those scorching summer days when you were a kid and you'd give anything for a trip to a pool or the beach? Well, in the 60s, there was a water park where they would let you do anything you wanted to beat the heat, but you would take a beating in the process.
In the late 1950s, Bob Byers owns an alfalfa farm along I-15 in the Mojave Desert. He's struggling to make ends meet, but inspiration strikes him when he sees all these cars driving by on their way to Las Vegas.
It's a long, hot drive. Temperatures can reach as high as 110 degrees in the summer.
So Byers looks at his huge plot of land and he thinks, what if I could create some massive swimming pools? A place for families to stop, cool off, and break up this long drive.
This guy gets a backhoe and a couple of his kids and digs out this lake. He digs out these ponds. He creates an oasis in the middle of the desert. He names it after his wife. And Lake Dolores is born.
By the early 70s, Lake Dolores grows from a roadside water oasis into a full-on water park, complete with their own commercials.
Good, clean, safe fun. A thrill a second. Bring the kids.
Byers has built this massive 300-acre complex dedicated to ultimate summer fun.
But it's also very dangerous because Bob is not an engineer.
It was slapped together. Wherever he found cool junkyard scrap, he made a ride out of it.
This place is basically spring break meets a construction site.
He builds these 200-foot speed slides where you go down head first and then skip onto the water at 50 miles an hour. Some people would actually overshoot the whole lake and then tear up their chests on the gravel on the other side.
The zip lines start from a 90-foot hill. You basically just have to hold on for dear life. If you let go too soon, you're falling from a 2-story height onto gravel.
And yet, people love it. They cannot get enough.
These people can handle it. These people won't drown. Lifeguards, we got no need for you. These people are making choices to come here and have fun in a slightly dangerous manner.
People come all the way from Frisco down here.
Nothing's like this around anywhere we live.
But one notorious attraction truly stands out above the rest: the stand-up slide.
The stand-up slide is as crazy as it sounds. You slide down standing at a 60-degree angle.
It's madness. If you fall, you could get concussed before you even hit the water.
And if you happen to make it all the way to the bottom, the slide spits you out 15 feet above the lake surface. Imagine hitting the water with the force of a small car accident, wearing nothing but a bathing suit.
If they didn't break a bone, people were tearing skin off on the dry part because the aluminum that didn't have the water on it would get baking hot, and you'd hear like, "Ugh."
And to make matters worse, people aren't just standing.
People are pulling off 360-degree spins as they go down.
They're cheating death, and their friends are all just cheering them on. There is not a place on Earth that would let you do that today.
Bob had this famous quote where he said, "It's a little bit country," which means what? Which means you may die.
Despite their reputation, or maybe because of it, the stand-up slides are a huge draw until the risks finally catch up with them.
An off-duty employee decides he's gonna have a little fun after hours, and he goes down a slide into a partially filled pool and ends up paralyzed. He gets a settlement of $4.4 million, and that drives the park into bankruptcy.
Today, if you drive out to the site of Lake Dolores, you'll find that it's really a shell of its former self.
There's something in the American character that must be admired. This guy, Bob, took American ingenuity, he took American spirit, he took American disregard for some safety rules, and he turned it into something that people loved for years and years. I don't know, man. I think we need more Bobs.
Thousands of miles to the east, there was another legendary park where thrills came first and safety a distant second.
Action Park will always be remembered as the most thrilling and dangerous and bonkers kids park in the tri-state area. Nothing compares to it.
I can't wait to jump in the Tarzan pool.
How did Action Park become known as the place for death-defying rides? It all began with the very first attraction when there was no park, just a struggling ski slope.
It's 1976, and businessman Gene Mulvihill is in a bind. He used to work on Wall Street, but he got chased out by the SEC for breaking so many rules. Now he is the owner of a big, risky investment called the Vernon Valley Great Gorge Ski Resort in New Jersey, and he's bleeding money. He can't use the ski resort in the summer months because there's no snow, but he comes up with a plan to use his land all year round.
He comes up with a bobsled-type run, a 2,700-foot twisting chute made of the cheapest concrete he could find.
The bobsled would be a simple plastic seat on rollers. A stick between your legs would be there to apply brakes if you went too fast. Maybe.
It's called an alpine slide, a ride that's becoming popular at ski areas around the world. But this one is going to be unlike any other.
Typical alpine slides have a more gradual slope. Mulvihill's is going to plummet almost 1,000 vertical feet in less than 1 minute.
You fly down the mountain in your own little vehicle, whipping around turns, winding, twisting. It is pure exhilaration.
The ride is so popular, Mulvihill builds Action Park around it, attracting over 1 million visitors every year.
My kids love the ride.
But the Alpine Slide remains its most popular attraction and its most perilous.
I grew up around Action Park. I had a T-shirt that had the Alpine Slide on it. However, I never actually went on the Alpine Slide because it was famous for people getting hurt on it.
There are so many problems, starting with the handbrake. First off, it's just a wooden stick, and they're so poorly maintained, it doesn't always work.
There's also the issue that the walls of the chute are only about 1 foot high. So if anything happens, you go completely flying off of this apparatus at 40 miles an hour.
People would get hurt, it would flip, people would get thrown out of it. I saw all this firsthand.
Instead of the thrill of skiing without snow, the Alpine Slide becomes the thrill of surgery without anesthesia.
It looks cool and super fun, but injuries keep piling up.
There's a 19-year-old employee of the facility who gets onto one of the sleds with a faulty brake. It fails, he goes flying, his head hits a rock, and he falls into a coma.
The family sues Action Park and wins, but somehow the place keeps operating for another 16 years.
The place is earning its nicknames, like Accident Park, Traction Park, and Class Action Park. But nothing seems to be enough to earn it a shutdown.
Finally, by the mid-90s, Mulvihill has encountered all of these lawsuits and he's in debt, so he's finally forced to shut down Action Park. And then it's converted to a real water park with actual safety features and guidelines.
After Action Park was sold, its new owners kept the Alpine Slide open for a final season before demolishing it. But riders had to wear helmets and pads.